We're now into our third month of Disneyland being reopened, and things are getting better week by week with respect to operations. More attractions, more restaurants, more cast are coming back. Attendance is pretty low though still, even considering it, we just got through the 4th of July weekend. The expectation that was that capacity limits would increase. Actually, let's take a look at the calendar. Just before we even get started, let's take a look at the calendar as of the recording of this video. And incredibly, you can buy a ticket to Disneyland for tomorrow. Was this the plan? Is this intentional? Is this the result of a continuation of the reduced capacity plan, or are guests just not buying tickets? Now, this is a conversation for an entirely separate video, one that we might delve into in the future. But let's just, for the sake of this video, let's assume that it is the case that guests are buying fewer tickets. Would now be the right time for Disney to start thinking about rolling out that new membership program? Well, if the rumors that I'm hearing are true, Disney may just be planning to do that. I've heard from multiple sources that Disney does have a plan for a membership program, but it won't be rolled out until after the holiday season, sometime in early January. I should say that the plan will roll out, become effective in early January, but we should be hearing something from Disney well before that. Some have said as early as this summer. Others are suggesting maybe the beginning of the holiday season. I've got some thoughts on that. In either case, in spite of what can only be described as low attendance, be that intentional or otherwise, I believe the reason for this decision is so that they can honor all of those single-day ticket sales and reservations made to date, those extending into October. As of today, you can make a reservation for October right now. So I think that the announcement is more likely to be sooner rather than later, more likely summer than early holiday season. If, for example, they were to wait until October, that would push the 120-day calendar out into January, past the holiday season. So let's say Disney does want to start the new program, let's say the new year, then you go back 120 days from that and you're talking early September. To do so later would create a situation, as mentioned, where a guest might have purchased a ticket for January, and then annual passes become available. And then now that same guest, now he purchases an annual pass. So now that guest doesn't even need that ticket because he's got an annual pass for whatever date that ticket was good for. Does the guest just suck it up? They have to eat that payment of $150 or however much, or does Disney give them a refund for that purchase? In either case, that's a problem. That's a public relations problem. If for Disney to have to do a bunch of refunds, or for guests complaining about, they're shaking their fists, why did you sell me an annual pass, or why did you sell me a ticket knowing that I could have bought an annual pass in January and used that pass to gain entrance to the park in January? So, to avoid this, you have got to make your announcement at least 120 days before the rollout date of the annual pass. That's why I'm saying on or before September. Now, having said all of that, one of my favorite things, having said all of that, one additional motivating factor for Disney to put this off until January, one reason why they might want to do that is because I think that they want to try to maximize the opportunity to sell those single-day tickets for the holiday season. They don't want a bunch of APs in the park during the holidays. They want single-day purchasers in the holidays. And the reason for that is because the holiday season is the busiest time of the year. It is probably the one time of year when they can probably guarantee that they're going to hit most of their predictions, most of their expectations, their sales expectations with just single-day ticket holders, not even factoring in annual pass holders. They can fill the parks with just single-day tickets. I think that's at least that would be the logic behind that decision. In that scenario, it is definitely true that the park is more profitable when it's full of single-day ticket purchasers rather than full of a mix, let's say, of single-day tickets and annual pass holders. However, Disney has not been able to convert annual pass holders, local frequent visitors. They have not been able to convert those guests into frequent visitors today, but paying full price. This appears to be evident by the low attendance and the slow-moving merchandise sales. As best as I can tell, the answer to that question is yes, it will include admission, but it will also require a reservation. They're going to keep that in place, and there will also be additional limitations on that reservation process. It will likely not be a go anytime you wish type of program, even at the highest level, even at the Signature Plus type level. Go back. When Disney revealed the Flex Pass annual pass program a couple years ago, part of that program, there was no blockout dates for that pass, by the way, but part of that program was that you could only make 2 reservations at a time. You couldn't book 3 or 4 days into the future or whatever. You could only book 2 days at a time. So if you had two, you had to use one before you could make your next one. And keep in mind, it sure does look like now that FlexPass, that system that they revealed, a couple years ago, was kind of a pilot program for the type of program they wanted to implement across all annual passes. I think that they were testing to see how well that pass performed, both financially and with guests in terms of going whenever they felt like it, if it was satisfactory for guests. I believe it has always been, since before COVID even, it has always been Disney's desire, Disney's goal to make everything a reservation, be that for a single day ticket or a multi-day, or annual pass. Now here's what's interesting. The FlexPass sold for a huge discount. It sold for $600. $600 versus $1,500 for the Signature Plus Pass. And again, the FlexPass had no blockout dates. There were no limitations on what day you could go, except for maybe the 2 weeks in Christmas. But there were no blockout dates. So why was that pass $600 when the Signature Plus Pass was $1,500? That $900 premium was so that you could go any day you want at the drop of a hat. You had the whim, you went. On the FlexPass, you could only make those 2 reservations at a time. So that's what it was worth. That's what Disney thought it was worth to you to go from unlimited to 2 reservations at a time. Now, keep in mind, again, as I mentioned, you could keep rolling those 2 days. It would have been possible, theoretically, for you to keep rolling those 2 days. You make a reservation, you make a second reservation, you go that day, that clears up one spot, you make another one for the next day, conceivably. So now let's try to, how does that extend? If you were to extend, let's say, the $1,500 ticket, the price for a Signature Plus Pass, what does that look like in terms of a FlexPass type model? Well, four reservations at a time, maybe, or something, or maybe more, maybe 6. I don't know. But that's where the number is. That's where the value is going to be decided. I believe, is how many reservations you can hold at one time. And I think that is the price point. They're trying to keep the price point at that same level, $1,500, with the usual amenities. Though I think that there may be some give or take there. If you were to look at the survey that they did a while back, they were floating a lot of different combinations. Max Pass and Photo Pass might be the kind of things that you might lose as part of your annual pass program. And what does this mean? This means, as we mentioned in a previous video on this topic, it's a better deal for Disney. Same price point, $1,500, but instead of you going any day you want, as many times as you want, as often as you want, anytime, any day, 4 reservations at a time. You get to go most days, most of the time, or even just many days. But whatever that number is, it's going to be, it has to be, it's going to be less than you were going before. And that's what Disney wants. They want the annual pass holder in this new program to pay the same price, but go less. And then by extension, that now makes more urgency for that person's visit, creating more urgency. They stay in the park longer and probably, hopefully, spend more money. After that, you would have lower price points, just like the $600 Flex Pass that has 2 visits. Maybe that price goes up to $800 or something like that. Or you have a tier 3 with 3 reservations at a time. That's where you're going to have your price points at. Or perhaps even like a value pass, like the SoCal Select Pass, for a very nominal fee, but you can only carry 1 reservation at a time. That would be an interesting pass. I would want to experiment with that pass if that became a thing. And of course, having said all of that, again, this is just conversation. This is just speculation based on rumor. Nothing beyond that as of now. Oh, and I will say finally, I think we're 50-50 right now on whether or not Disney will continue allowing guests to make payments, or if they're going to require the entire annual pass fee, the $1,500 or whatever it is, up front. And the decision on whether or not to do that is going to be based entirely, I believe, on how many tickets they want to sell. Obviously, they will sell more with a monthly payment than they would without one. Now, I will say this, and this is contrary to what I think a lot of people hope for or wish for. These decisions are not going to be done, they're not being made in order to limit the number of people in the park. Disney is fine with having a park at or near capacity. They have been plenty good with that for years. We know this to be true, and I see no reason why they wouldn't be interested in making the parks as full as possible and as profitable as possible. In fact, there are, right now as we speak, a lot of jobs, a lot of high-level jobs on the line based on how well Disney is able to recover from the past 18 months, COVID-related losses, as it were. We're getting to the point now where things have started to get, they need to start making money now. They need to start showing improvement and positive energy towards achieving previous, levels of revenue. And if they can't get there, and it's, and a lot of that could be because of the lack of reservation or of an annual pass. If they can't get there, I mean, this is important. This is an important time for the Disneyland company and an important time for the future of the annual pass program. So that's a long way of saying whether or not they roll out the APs is not a factor of them trying to, limit attendance. All that is a long way of saying that whether or not they roll out APs is not directly related to them trying to control or limit attendance in the park. Well, I should say that they do want to control attendance. The reservation system does give Disney the ability to, get rid of those or limit those ultra high capacity days and also get rid of those ultra low capacity days. What they're trying to do is create a medium, right? So they want to move some of those guests from the ultra high days into the less busy days so you get a nice flat line of attendance, a consistent, predictable level of attendance. And then, obviously, it better allows them to control staffing for cast members and supply chains, etc. We've talked about that. Reservations are the perfect remedy for any kind of issue they might have with managing a park of this scale. That's where we are today. Now, let's summarize. We're most likely going to see a new membership program after the new year. We'll most likely know about it before September, and it will most likely have some controls limiting to how many reservations you can hold. Oh, and then it will also most likely cost about the same as we have been paying previously, give or take a few $100s here or there. Now, I know you have questions, FreshBaked, and I'll try to answer them for you. Just understand, again, like I said, this is just rumor and speculation. We take available information, mix in some whispers, and then try to draw logical conclusions and present them to you. But tell me what you think. Ask a question in the comments below. And then stay tuned to FreshBaked because the world of Disneyland is an ever-changing landscape, and we are here for you. We're going to be the ones to help you make sense of it all. We are the best of Disney, Bake Fresh Daily. So follow us on Instagram at _FreshBaked and on Twitter at FreshBakedDisney, that's fresh with no E, and on TikTok at FreshBakedDisney. Otherwise, stay safe out there, you guys. We love you very much. Be kind to one another. And FreshBaked.